welcome back. You're listening to the Kate Daly Show. Guest is Mel Madison. Comes on Tuesdays, and so grateful for him. And boy, you need to really listen to what he's about to say, because you know how we've been warning about this and warning about this and warning about this. All right, Mel, you got to take it from here and talk about Wyoming, what they're doing.
Yeah, so this week there's a lot going on around our financial and monetary system in Wyoming. We have the Federal Reserve meeting in Jackson Hole this week. And concurrently, also in Jackson Hole at the Four Seasons Hotel, they're holding a blockchain symposium. And Wyoming has basically been ground zero for cryptocurrency. The senator there, Senator Loomis, was the one who sponsored the Bitcoin bill to put Bitcoin into a strategic reserve. And now what they're discussing there, part of what they're discussing there, is something called the Wyoming Stable Token Act, which was the nation's first law enacted to put in place not a central bank, but a government-controlled digital currency. This one being controlled by the state of Wyoming. It was actually passed into law last year, and it established a commission to figure out how to do this. And now what they're doing is they're laying the groundwork to put in this Wyoming stable token. And for what this would be, really briefly, is it would be like a US dollar, but a cryptocurrency where they would have, of course, access to transaction level detail. They'd have the ability to turn it on, to turn it off. They'd have programmability of it, so they could program, different interest rates on it for different types of people that the government favors or doesn't favor. There's all types of nefarious uses for these coins, and that's why the governments really want to get them in. But there's been such pushback against the Federal Reserve and the central bank one. Now we're starting to see individual states like Wyoming come out and talk about it, and it's scary stuff, and it just goes to show they won't let this issue die. They're desperately wanting to get their digital control of our money.
It's just depressing. It really is. It's the horror of it. Like this is the first state to do this, right?
Exactly. And Wyoming has a history of this type of stuff. I mentioned the senator there calls herself the crypto senator. Yeah. And Wyoming, why this is going on is obviously because she's controlled, if not by the Communist Party, by her donors. And Wyoming is dominated by billionaires. It's called the cowboy state. It ought to be called the crypto billionaire state, because this is who's buying those multi-million-dollar ranches near Jackson Hole. This is who's funding. And if you think about it, it makes sense for them, right? Let's go into the least populated state in the lower 48, right, where it only takes a few votes to swing elections, where you have less people voting than you do in, a Chicago mayoral race. I mean, and we can control a whole state, and we can buy, you look at the Cheneys, you look at how they do this, and they're smart about it too, because they're like, we can't do it in a liberal state. We do it in a Republican state. People won't question it. People will think this is red, white, and blue America here, the cowboy state. And yet, why is the Federal Reserve there right now? Why is the blockchain symposium happening right now? Why is the Wyoming senator the crypto queen? Why are they introducing the Bitcoin Act? Why are they the first state to put in a digital currency? Because they are bought and paid for by financial services. They also were the state that created the LLC, the limited liability. They've been trying to attract all the big money from California, New York, across the globe, really, into Wyoming. Wyoming has become not a narco state, but a financial state. It's controlled by the big financial interests. And a lot of people just think it's a bunch of cowboys on ranches, right, and that couldn't be further from the truth.
Like it's scarcely populated, and it is quiet. I mean, they're very quiet about it. They're very quiet about being up there. They're very quiet about these meetings, and most people don't point them out. And I found even in conservative talk, we do not point this out, that is kind of the hub for that. You've got Delaware and you've got Wyoming, and they're just not discussed a ton, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they manipulate the state system because think about how easy it is to control a state like Wyoming. I mean, you don't have to spend a lot of money to influence local and statewide elections there. You can influence statewide election there for pennies. A billionaire can throw $100 million at an election there and pretty much guarantee their candidate's going to win. And And so they're very sneaky. They're very smart, and they do things in unexpected ways. And the last place people would
Yeah.
think would be the impetus of like deep economic state digital warfare would be a state like Wyoming. But we keep seeing it time and time again. It's all coming out of Wyoming.
And we're going to see other states follow pretty quick here, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean,
Stablecoin.
once one state does it, then the other states say, well, we got to do it or we're going to lose our revenue. Just like now, I believe it's all 50 states allow you to create LLCs. You know, Wyoming started it,
Right.
certain tax advantages. And then once one state does it, they all do it. So I think they're just realizing like you put stuff through on a state level and you don't need to have this big national debate. You don't
Yeah.
have to get Congress to
It's
agree.
quiet.
You just move it through the state legislatures. And,
Yep.
you know, Wyoming, it's got a huge area, but I mean, population is literally 50th. Alaska passed Wyoming. It's got only 576,000 people in the entire state. You want, it's easier to, I mean, there are more people that live in Durham County, North Carolina, where I am right now, than in that entire state.
Right.
It's like controlling a corrupt city government. But it's got all the powers of a state.
Oh man. You know, we knew we were going to start seeing it though, and of course they'd go quiet with it. They have to. You're right. Otherwise, there'd be a national conversation. Whenever they want to pass legislation through, a bill through, what they do is they get about 20. These groups reach out to about 20 states and make it look like the local politicians are coming up with these bills, and they pass it the first 20, right, or the first 15, and they get a stronghold, and then the other states roll and accept the legislation, but it's coming from groups. It's not coming from these politicians. It's always a group. It's always a think tank, but they do it that way so that you're right. There's no national attention, you know,
No national attention. Yeah.
And the states already feel like, oh, we must be the only state doing this. And always go look, because you'll probably find 15 to 20 other states. Just happens that it's, you know, this magician trick, and they're able to get them in at the same time so that no one's talking about it, right? Because if you think it's only in your state, it's not going to become a big conversation on a radio show, right? On national radio show. But do it 20 states at one time and you're good to go with the rest. Crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not even, it's obviously, I'm not saying anything about the people of Wyoming or the actual ranchers and cowboys there, or even the people that live there, because these people, they live there for these type of financial benefits that they're accruing. You have people like Christy Walton, you know, the widow of John Walton, the son of Walmart's founder, Amy Weiss, daughter of Swiss tycoon. I mean, you can go and Google like why Wyoming is a hub for billionaires, and like it's just a ridiculous amount of billionaires in Wyoming on a per capita basis. You have a state with 500,000 people, and you have, you know, the Walmarts, the Mars families, you know, the people that founded TD Ameritrade, the Ricketts family. You know, the list goes on and on. That some of the wealthiest and most privileged people choose to establish residence in Wyoming, and then they use their money to control the political aspects, especially, I believe, at the Senate level, with Cynthia Loomis, their crypto senator.
You know, you brought up Walmart, and this is really off topic, but it's so amazing to me that they put forth a huge pride ad campaign that it was really reminiscent of Target. Target backed off a little bit this last year because of the people just boycotting it. But Walmart jumped in to fill the void, and I wonder if people are noticing that that Walmart is like the bad actor. I swear, they were the ones during COVID that got preferential treatment. They were, you know, below the lie, and it's amazing to me what they've become, because I don't think they started out anything like what they are today. But I so thank you. I so thank you for coming on, Mel. melmadison.com, and the book is Quaz. Go get the book. And great stuff today, and scary stuff because of Wyoming and what they're doing right now. That really, honestly, should be today's top news, that they're doing that, not the DNC. Who cares about the weirdo train? But that is big news because of what's about to roll out. Thank you so much, Mel. melmadison.com. And of course, I'll be right back with Philip Patrick. You're going to want to hear this. He's got some great insights coming up.
Stop suffering with pain. Tune in Mondays and Tuesdays at 5.